What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Gundam Universe Wave 5 figures, which includes the Char's Zaku II, Gundam Sandrock, and the RX-93 New Gundam. So these are actually more popular characters. We've been kind of anticipating the Zaku figure. We don't have any Zaku suits so far. And also New Gundam is kind of a very popular character. So this wave is actually kind of cool that you're finally getting these characters. The next wave also has some good ones. One thing that was unique in this box is we got this right here. So on the front it says Gundam Special Comics. You can scan that QR code and it'll give you that special comic. But inside it shows you all the waves we've had so far. So I've been reviewing these since Wave 1. So here's Wave 1. I did skip the Unicorn Gundams. I hate Unicorn Gundams, so I didn't buy them. But all the rest here I've reviewed. I didn't buy the Target exclusive Strike Rouge, which is just a recolor of the Strike Gundam, made in red, of course, for Target. And finally, we have Wave 5, which are these figures here. So I like this little handout, just to let you see. And then you also get some codes to play this game, Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2. You get some points or whatever. So that's it, but nice little handout there. So each of the figures do come with some of the same accessories, so I'm just going to show them now. I'm not going to show them individually, but they each come with fists. They're actually installed. The first thing I do when I get these figures is take these fists out, put in the open hands, and then toss these back in the box and never use them again. So they each come with fists, so we're not going to look at those individually. We also get this stand adapter, so it allows you to take a Tamashii Stage-Act stand, put this adapter on there, and to be honest, I don't find a lot of use in it because you can just use the Tamashii Stage-Act stand without it, but it basically pegs into the bottom of their crotch right here. So you can plug it in there, and then you can display them like that. But I prefer to just use the regular gripping arms here to display these characters. So that's really it for the standard accessories. We're going to go one by one over these characters, starting with 12, 13, and then 14. And we'll go over their accessories and details individually. We'll start off with GU12, their Zaku suit. This is the first Zaku suit we've gotten in the Gundam Universe line. It does come with some accessories. First, let's take a look at the paint. And there's not much on this guy. The only paint you really have is that red eye for the head there. And that's it. There's no other paint anywhere on this. Kind of silly. I really think they could have added some accents and highlights here. It is a kind of a harder plastic, except for some parts, like these feet are a little bit softer. This is a flexible plastic, so you can see there's a ball joint here and here, and that bends with the articulation, so that's nice. Speaking of the articulation, let's go over that. So the head is on a double ball peg, as you can see. This neck move back and forth, but then the head is on the ball joint itself. So you can get it a little bit back. If you push it too far, it pops off like I showed you, but you can go down like that, and you can rotate all the way around. The arms on a ball joint as well, rotates around. These armor pieces, so this rotates on a ball joint, but if you want to bring the arm up, you can't. If you try to, it pops this off the joint. Really, really stupid design. I don't know why they did that, because it limits the arm. Without that, you can get the arm all the way up. I don't really understand what they did. Usually they put those armor pieces on the ball so that can rotate up with the arm and at least give it a little bit of limited articulation. But with this on here, it's totally blocked. So kind of silly. Rotation at the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow, but of course, because of the sculpt, it's a little bit hindered, but you get well past 90 degrees. Rotation at the wrist, and it's on a ball, so it moves in all directions. Rotation at the waist. You have a double jointed waist, so even though it is double jointed, it's limited, and then things start to pop out here. You can see as I'm rotating him, stuff starting to pop out, but you can get into some poses. It's just things will start to move on you, so you just got to re-put it back into position. Coming down to the bottom here, you have hip skirts, and the hip skirts also kind of pop out. And I've noticed that this problem has been getting worse as the line goes on, is having these hip skirts stay in is a real issue. So you kind of have to pull them out just a little bit to get them articulated. Let's leave it off for now, but you can see there's a hole there for it. This one rotates to the side. So you can get the leg upwards. Backwards, it's hindered by this rubber piece here, but if you want, you can take the rubber piece off. You can get it up. And let's see, if we put this back on, let's see how much articulation we can get. We can get up to there before it starts hitting. It's a very heavy leg. It does have a drop-down joint, so you can get a little bit more up. If you have it all the way up, it's going to be hindered, obviously, a little bit more. But it's good that they put that in. I just don't love the way these hip skirts pop off so easily. You have a double jointed knee here. Again, it's a little hindered by the tube, but the tube does bend with the knee. You have ankle tilt, ankle rocker, both directions. Pretty nice movement and a rotation at the foot. It does come with some nice accessories. So he comes with this tomahawk weapon. It is purple plastic with painted yellow here on the edge. Looks good. He can hold this in either of the open hands. There's a little grip part there that fits in nicely, and then he can be wielding this. You can also store this in a couple places. So on the side of the hip skirt, a little spot to put that, so you can store it there. Or if you prefer, you can store it here on the back. Me personally, I like to have it on the side here. It just looks a little bit nicer. You also get his machine gun. Looks like this. Here's the ammo clip. The ammo clip does come off. I don't know if that's by design or just cheapness, but and then you also have a handle here that you can hold on either side. So this will fit into his hand just like any other Gundam figure. Slide that into the hand. That's what it looks like. You can get the finger around the trigger if you spend some time getting it right. There you go. So you could just trigger finger on there. And you can get him to hold it. Let's put this back on. It's just a little bit tricky, so you kind of have to get the arm up just at the right angle and then get the handle in there. And he can dual wield his machine gun there. All right, next we'll take a look at the Gundam Sandrock. So he does have some paint. You can see the red on the bottom of the chin there. Green eyes, and then painted black for the nose. Green for the head crest there. Moving down, you have that green jewel there. A tiny bit of red paint here on the sides, I believe. Here's the back. Pretty clean. Not a lot of paint, a little bit of silver there for the boosters. And I believe this gray up here is also, is that plastic? That might be a piece of plastic. But they do a pretty good seamless job of mixing the plastics to make it look like it's painted, but it's really just two pieces of plastic together. But overall, pretty good looking. Let's take a look at his articulation. The head is on a double ball peg again, so the neck can go up to there, down to there. The head is a little bit further away from the base, so you get more movement on this guy than you did on Zaku. Rotates all the way around. The shoulders rotate around on this joint. These are on a ball peg, so you can just pop them off. That's how they should have done that one. I'm not sure why they did it like that, but this gives you a lot more movement because of that. Rotation at the bicep. Double joint elbow gets you full bend, and a ball pegged wrist gets you the full movement there, rotation. You have rotation at the waist. You have a tiny bit of side to side. You have forward and backward movement here. The backpack is a separate piece that you can take off. Comes in the box separate, but you can mount it back on there. Me personally, I would just leave it there. These hip skirts can move. Again, they've got the short pegs. I don't know why they designed it like this, almost to purposely limit the articulation. But leg goes up to there, out to the side, limited only by these. If those weren't there, it would go a lot further. The leg joints do drop down on these pegs. You have rotation at the ball joint here at the hip. Double jointed knee gets you about to there. Limited again only by the sculpt of the leg. Then down on the foot you have ankle tilt here, back and forth, and then this shield piece can move separately if you want to. Speaking of the backpack, you can take this off if you want to. That'll give you a little bit more movement on the leg backwards, but of course he looks silly without it. So we'll put that back on. He comes with a couple accessories, so you do get this shield here. So the shield can mount on his arm, which to me looks like the best place to put it. And that has a little bit of white and red paint on it. That looks nice. Or if you want to store it, you can store it here on the backpack. Right there. Like that. That looks pretty clean. You also get 2 swords here. These are actually really sharp, and they actually even warn you of that in the manual. But it looks really nice. It's painted silver on the blade, and they fit into these open hands. Again, I mentioned earlier, there's no reason to have the closed fist hands. They just don't do anything. So I always throw those in the box. So you can put it there, or you get a second one. And if you prefer, you can store it here on the backpack. You can see there's a little slot right there. So you can store like that. So if you want to store everything, you can. Not sure why you would. Maybe you have him flying through the air, but you can store everything on his backpack. And it looks really cool. Me personally, I would have these in his arms. So he's double wielding these swords. All right, last but not least, we have the new Gundam. When I say new, I don't mean N-E-W new. I mean new like the Greek character new. So this is a relatively popular character in the Gundam world. And he has quite a bit of paint on him. It's like the green eyes, the red here for the chin, the black detail here on the face, black here on this head crest, the symbol here, yellow paint, I believe, on the sides here. Might be plastic, not sure. Green paint here for sure. Red and yellow here on the waist crotch. Yellow paint here on the sides, yellow paint here. You've got a lot of nice little yellow accents on this guy. Here's the back. You got some red paint, or is that plastic? It's hard to tell on some of these. I believe these are plastic inserts, so excuse that. Here's the rocket boosters here. Those look nice. Some yellow paint here, and then white paint. So overall, this one probably has the most paint of the 3. You do get some nice articulation. Similar to Sandrock, the head is on a double ball peg, so it goes down to there. Not much back due to the sculpt of the head. It kind of gets in its own way. And then it rotates around. The shoulders are on a rotation joint here. These are on a ball peg, same thing as the other one. You can pop them off that ball peg. That's the system they should be using for all of these. Goes up to there. Rotation at the bicep. Double jointed elbow. It's a full bend. Hand on a ball joint. You have more rotation on this guy. So I don't know if they just sculpted it better, but you get a lot further movement backwards and forwards on that joint, and a little bit of side to side. The legs go up to there, back to here, again hindered by this rubbery piece back there, up to the side. These seem a little bit more movable than the others, maybe because they're shorter, but I can get the leg out without popping these hip skirts out of the way. You have a rotation at the thigh. Double jointed knee gets you a bend up to there. There's another booster back here which is painted. That looks nice. You have a ankle tilt, pivot, and a rotation. So all of that's really good. Some really good articulation on this particular copy. You also get the backpack here, which can be removed. It looks pretty nice overall. That just pegs right in. And now let's take a look at his accessories. So first you get the beam saber. It comes attached like this. You can't take it apart like the others. So what they did is, here, let's put it into his hand. That fits in nicely. He holds it really well. So no problems there. But what they did in order to give you the beam saber effect, they just gave you one without the beam. So this came out right here onto the back. Like that. And that just kind of stores there. That looks really good. Obviously, if he has the beam in his hand, you would take this out, or vice versa. If it's not in his hand, then you can have that back there. But whatever, I'm going to have both on there. You also get the fin funnel system here. So there's one that can detach. And this whole thing will attach to his back. You can see there's a little slot right there. If you come to the back here, you'll see there's a slot right here. So there's a couple things you can do with this. You can put this on, here, let's see, I think it goes this way. You can put this on here, like that. It just kind of mounts horizontally, or like at an angle. And that's what it looks like fully installed. And he can have one of the funnels attached, or you can have it shooting off. So if you take this one here, see there's a little slot right there on the side, which is going to fit in right here. So get that tabbed in. And now he's got the full funnel effect on his back. If you want that one to be shooting off, you can do a couple things. So you can just take this funnel and turn it into the firing one like this. Just bend it. It's got two joints here. And you can use one of these Tamashii Stage X stands, and that can be firing off next to him or whatever. There you go. Now he is a little bit back heavy due to this gigantic backpack. It's probably one of the biggest ones we've gotten for any of these Gundam Universe figures. But you can take this off, and if you prefer, you can just use the single funnel. So it also has a slot there. So if you want, you can just put that on there like that. Or you can kind of cheat, and I don't think it ever looked like this in the cartoon, but you can do that. So it's kind of firing off. So you have some options there. If you don't want to display it with this big heavy piece, you can kind of put it like that. And I still think that looks good. But overall, nice piece. I think they did a good job on New Gundam. Final thoughts on the Gundam Universe Wave 5. Let's start with the positives. They come with some really nice accessories. The Zaku comes with 2, Sandrock comes with 3, and then the New Gundam comes with 4, because you've got the beam saber and the unbeamed hilt here. So that's nice. I think of all of them, the New Gundam probably is the biggest value. They're all $25, but because he gets the most stuff, he's probably the highest value. He also just is the most material too. But I do like Sandrock as well. The Zaku does feel a little bit cheap. I wish they had put a little bit of paint or something on him. Even the accessory, the gun, looks a little bit cheap because it's just gray plastic. But overall, I think the look of them is really nice. They've nailed the cartoon look, the anime look. Of course, they have to. It's their property. So they look good. Another negatives-wise is the limitation on the articulation continues. And at this point on Wave 5, I believe it's on purpose, they're making these hip skirts with short little pegs so that by the time you bend it, because the leg can move every direction you would want it to. But because of these hip skirts on all 3 sides is limited, and that causes you not be able to do it, which is very strange, right? It's not something Bandai, I don't think Bandai would design that. So I think they designed it on purpose to limit the articulation so they don't compete with the real grade and the mid-grade versions of these model kits. So that's unfortunate. However, I do recommend this if you are collecting these Gundam Universe or just a Gundam fan in general. They're really fun figures at the low price point of $25. Not a lot of risk there, so I do recommend these. So that's really for today. Thanks for watching. You can pick these up at Target or any of your retail stores. I got these from Big Bad Toy Store, so you can buy them there as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.